Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Happy holidays and welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Jenny. Good morning. Good morning, everyone out there.
You got something in your eye?
Yeah, I do got something by.
You got Cowboys in your eye?
Dude.
You know, I told Ernestine last night, I don't really want much of anything for Christmas. Just the Cowboys in the Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium out here in LA so I can take you and we can sit in the front row together.
How about
that? That's my Christmas gift.
Why don't I just ask Ernestine? I would like to win the lottery. I like to win the Powerball. It's the same odds.
Hey, she could pull that off.
It's the same odds. About 270 million to 1.
Yeah, if you guys are going to the Super Bowl in the front row, I'm coming with you.
No.
I'm coming with you. But we actually have to begin by talking about Mr. Tom Brady. And get this, with he may be a bit more naughty than nice last Sunday, losing his temper during the Bucs' 9-0 loss to the Saints, capped off by screaming at New Orleans interim head coach Dennis Allen after the game, stealing interception. It wasn't a great moment, and then, of course, throwing the tablet. Shannon, did that moment cost him MVP?
No. Scoring 0 points and throwing for 214 yards and losing 9-0 to a Taysom Hill-led football team has more to do with that. I think since opening day, Aaron Rodgers has outplayed him. Aaron Rodgers has 30 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 1 loss since that opening day loss to the New Orleans Saints. You remember, and I remember you coming out here that Sunday. You mean to tell me the greatest thrower of the football, says the Hall of Famer. I'm not in the Hall of Fame, but the Hall of Famer can only score 3 points? And your guy did it one better. Scored 0 points. That's what your guy did. Now, since then, Aaron Rodgers, 30 touchdowns. He leads in QBR. He has a better completion percentage, better yards per attempt, better team record, and 10 fewer turnovers than Tom Brady. So at what metric can you use to say Tom Brady has outplayed Aaron Rodgers and deserves the MVP? And I told you, even though Tom was putting up these great numbers, I say don't count Rodgers out just yet because every week they were winning ball games. He was throwing 2, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Tom was having 3, 4 touchdowns, but he was throwing a pick. I say, Skip, be careful, be careful. And lo and behold, here we are. The same thing happened with Mahomes last year. Remember, it was that Atlanta game, Skip. He went into it. He didn't play particularly well, threw a turn, had a pick. They won the game, but he didn't play particularly well. Come that afternoon, Aaron Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and the next thing we know, he's in, just like it flipped. Aaron Rodgers in the league for the odds maker has him favored to win the MVP. So for me, Brady's also thrown 100 more passes, 161, than Aaron Rodgers. The biggest thing, what I see is I think the Buccaneers went out of their way to try to get Tom Brady the MVP. I think he could have still had great numbers, but the throw like he did against New Orleans Saints, they opened up the game with 11 straight pass attempts. And I think that has a lot to do with Tom. And Tom numbers are fantastic. I don't want people to think that I'm saying Tom numbers aren't great. When you throw for the amount of yards that he has, and when you have the amount of touchdowns that he's thrown for, obviously he's playing very well. But if you look at it in a race against Aaron Rodgers, and you look at what Rodgers has done, this was Tom's. Sunday was Tom's opportunity. No AB. Gronk was struggling. Chris Godwin goes out. Mike Evans goes out. That was his opportunity to do what Aaron Rodgers did on that Thursday night in Arizona when he went up there with his 3 top receivers out, 2 top offensive linemen, lose Tanyan, no Jair Alexander, no Zadarius Smith. That was Tom Brady's opportunity to do it.
That was the night that A.J. Green had the touchdown pass right in his hands and he just couldn't find it?
Hold on.
That night?
But you see what you did? Hold on. That was also the same night in that very same stadium that Pete Carroll refused to give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, you see?
What does that have to do with that?
What does that have to do with Aaron Rodgers winning the game? You try to bring up an auxiliary incident. No, that got nothing to do with it.
He would have a big L.
Well, thanks
to A.J. Green, he's got a W.
Tom Brady would have a big L if Marshawn Lynch gets the ball in the win and runs the ball in the end zone.
But that's not true because Tom Brady threw for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and brought them back from 24 to 14. So bang, boom, go.
So hold on. Did Malcolm Butler did not pick the ball off in the end zone?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but anyway.
You need to have a little defense.
But all I'm saying is this. I think that has more. Skip, Aaron Rodgers is not without, he has some issues that I'm sure some of the voters are going to like, hold on, bro. You lied. But at the end of the day, no matter what you think about a person, and it's hard, Skip, because journalists and writers and voters, They have feelings. They're emotional also.
Yep.
And I'm sure they're looking at Tom Brady like that's not a way to behave. But they're also looking at Aaron Rodgers like, bro, you lied. And then you come out here and be smug and cavalier about the situation. But at the end of the day, I got to evaluate the guys on what I see on the football field. And to me, I believe Aaron Rodgers has outplayed Tom Brady up until this point. They both have 3 games to go. Both have 2 division games.
Yep.
I think Aaron Rodgers have a little bit higher degree of difficulty because I think the Minnesota Vikings are a little better team than anybody that's on Tampa's schedule, Skip. But this thing is to be decided. But if the vote was today, I believe Aaron Rodgers would win.
I do too, but not because of what he's done on the field. I believe the flashpoint moment of this football season was Tom Brady running toward the New Orleans sideline and screaming at the interim coach, who happened to be the defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, who has had Tom's number for every game he has played against New Orleans. That's 5 games so far since he's been in Tampa Bay. He screamed, "Go F yourself." Tom Brady did that? Yep. That's who I always said that he was. But because there is so much Brady hate ready to spill, so much pent-up Brady hate out there, and I experience a lot of it across the table every day here on Undisputed, pent up, ready to spill because he has shut everybody's mouth up to that point. And at that point, it spilled. And I believe that most of the media, either because of Brady hate or Brady burnout, was just ready for Tom Brady to be out of everybody's hair. And that was the excuse that everybody needed. He threw that tantrum. He yelled that at that coach just because that coach was beating the you-know-what out of him. And then he went to the bench and he threw the tablet and smashed it like a little child acting out. Yep. And that was the end of Tom Brady's MVP, as you say, narrative. I thought that, silly me, Aaron Rodgers' narrative ended when he became the liar, when he said he was immunized. And you were all over him. In fact, I've never heard you any more scathing on any single player than you were on Aaron Rodgers at that flashpoint moment. But somehow we've forgiven and forgotten. Somehow it's in the past. Somehow it seems like it was last season.
I did what Skip Bayless did with Kawhi. But Skip, and I said at the time, the way I feel about what he did as an individual, he lied. But I cannot deny what he's doing on the football field, Skip, and you cannot.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, before I launch on why Tom has outplayed Aaron this year, allow me to say, first of all, I got to get this pet peeve off my chest. Obviously, as you just pointed out, there are still 3 games to go for both of them. This is undone. This is unfinished business. Can Tom climb out of this hole, this narrative hole that he's in? I don't think so, but we'll see. But he's got Carolina twice and at Jets, so he's got easier opposition than obviously Aaron does, so much lower degree of difficulty.
Yes.
Could he pile up some TDs and some yards and some accolades? Yes, he could.
Yes.
But here's my problem with this. It's like the Pro Bowl gets announced last night, and I'm saying, why now? We're supposed to get all revved up about the Pro Bowl, and we're going to debate in a few minutes here, should Matt Stafford have been on that Pro Bowl team above Kyler Murray? Well, we still have 3 games to go. Why did you release it so early? Because it's not finished, right?
Yeah, it is, Skip. Okay. It's finished.
Well, the Pro Bowl's...
The Pro Bowl's finished, yeah.
Okay, but why announce it now? They just want a big publicity pop that they got on sort of the middle of a dead week here.
Right.
Okay.
It's always, Skip, it's always week 4. Well, it's week 15 now, Skip, but this is always how it normally happens. Last year, it was week 14, 2 games left in the season. Now they do it week 15 with 3 games left in the season.
Well, I don't have enough body of work. I mean, a lot could change over the next 3 weeks, and I think it's going to change in the MVP race, but I think Brady is done. And yet, before I go into the numbers, allow me to say that if I were trying to explain Tom Brady to somebody who did not get him, who knew nothing about him, the quintessential Tom Brady, the essence of Tom Brady was in that moment that he ran to Dennis Allen and yelled what he yelled. And I've told you from the start, I'm not saying he's a great role model. I'm just saying he has a rage to win that often goes completely over the edge into what I call him, Psycho Tom. Okay. That was the epitome of Psycho Tom. He lost it, man. He ran over. If you remember Honey Badger in the Super Bowl? He went after him. He was screaming at him, lost control for a moment at Honey Badger, and then went right back at him and threw a touchdown to Antonio.
Well, see that, but that's the thing, Skip. Tom Brady, what Tom Brady does gets labeled as competitor, fire.
Well, I always tell you it's just psycho.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, but it is Jordan-esque.
Had Cam Newton done that, is that competitive?
Absolutely.
If Odell Beckham, no, Skip, hold on, wait a minute. I remember when Cam Newton would sit on the sideline with a towel in his head, and people on panels just like this said Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees would never behave like that. And all he was doing was sitting there with a towel on his head. Tom Brady does that, you know good and well. Odell Beckham, you know AB, you know Cam Newton could never go to the sideline and yell what Tom Brady yelled, and people say, oh, that's just competitive nature, Shannon. What do you expect?
Right,
you know that.
Cam would go over there and sit on the end of the bench and sulk with the towel over his head, and that's not leadership.
So was that leadership?
Okay, that's just crazy. I told you, he wanted to win that game worse than anybody on the football field.
So Cam wanted to win. That's why Cam
who has had his number? I called it first. I called it on Friday. You said it's going to be a rout in favor of Brady and the Bucs.
Yes.
Nope. I said I would bet a lot of money on this if you'd give me 11 points in New Orleans because they have done that to him repeatedly. Okay, so again, I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just trying to define it. That's who he is.
No.
And what he needed to do when he did his Let's Go podcast with Jim Gray, he needed to apologize for it, but he's not going to do it because he's too proud to do that. Jordan-esque. Jordan would never apologize for any of the things you have criticized Jordan for in the way he treated his teammates, or for that matter, treated opponents. Jordan would he would just exaggerate or fabricate beefs with rival coaches and players just to motivate himself. Brady doesn't really do that.
Right.
Okay. So Tom needed to say, I lost control. I don't know. And his line was, that was just football stuff. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
That was just psycho.
No.
Okay. So now let's get back to the numbers, shall we? Okay. So you talked about the common opponent that they have, New Orleans, right?
Right.
Okay. So let's look at what happened in Aaron Rodgers' one bad game this year. Boy, it was really bad. He completed 54% of his passes. He threw for a grand total of 133 yards.
Right.
He threw no touchdowns and 2 interceptions that had a QBR of 14. Okay, that's his bad game. Let's look at Tom's bad game. Also 54% completions, but for a lot more yards, 214. Not all that bad. 214. No touchdowns, 1 interception. So wait, Aaron threw 2 to 1. Now let's look at QBR, shall we? Oh, wait a second. Aaron's QBR was 14 in his one bad game. Tom's was 18. So actually, Tom's game wasn't as bad as Aaron Rodgers.
We doing that?
Boom, I got you again.
Let me ask you a question.
Wasn't as bad.
Okay, hold on. What about the bad game? What about the losses? What about the bad game against Washington? He lost. What about the game? How many games has he lost? How many games has Aaron Rodgers lost?
I think it's still my turn.
I figured it was still your turn.
Well, you talked enough for one show. Okay, so here we go with these numbers. And you said, well, we're not going to discount these numbers. Well, you can't because he leads the league in completions. He leads the league in yards passing.
Pass attempts. Go and throw that in there.
He leads the league in yards per game, passing yards per game at 311. Oh, let's see where Aaron is on passing yards per game. 268?
Yeah.
That's way down here at 5th on the list. So that's not exactly rivaling 311 by Tom Brady, right?
All I'm saying is, hold on. But see, you kept when he's first in, you got to put pass attempts, 161 more pass attempts than Aaron Rodgers. But you also fail to realize he has how many more turnovers? One guy has 4 total turnovers. The other guy has 14 turnovers. So 3 times as many turnovers. 30-4 versus 36 to what? 11, 36 to 12? You okay with that? But let me ask you a question, Skip.
Wait, I thought I was I thought I had the floor. Okay, well, I'm just getting started over here. You know, I listened to all that stuff that you spilled out.
Okay, go ahead, Skip.
Okay, but actually I misread my number here. It's actually 8th. Aaron Rodgers in yards passing per game ranks 8th in the league. Let's look at what Pro Football Focus said. It grades Tom Brady as the second best quarterback so far, all the way up to date. Second best, body of work. Aaron's 5th in that. He's 5th in grade. Okay, let's look at overall points scored so far this year. Green Bay ranks 14th. That's Aaron's team. You know, he is the quarterback. 14th, also 14th in yards gained as an offense. So 14th. Tampa leads the league in points scored. That's interesting. Tampa Bay has been decimated by injuries on both sides of the ball.
So has Green Bay. So has Green Bay.
I'll rival you on that one.
So has Green Bay.
You want to start listing them? It is
no,
just...
we don't need to do all that.
Ooh, God.
But guess what? Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Pro Football Focus, they listing stats and numbers and all that. What's the one-loss record? What's Green Bay's win-loss record? What's Tampa's?
Yep, Green Bay's is a little bit better.
No, little. A lot of bit.
Just a little bit better. But again, so many injuries, so many problems.
But no, don't do that. Hold on. The Ravens has injuries. Everybody's had injuries. You make it seem like injuries is unique to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's what you tried to do. It is not. The man played without his 3 top weapons. Bakhtiari has him back. He lost Elkins. He played Arizona with his top, no Zadarius Smith, no Jair Alexander. Kenny Clark has been out of the lineup. Don't do that, Skip. You make all these excuses. At the end of the day, it's still not over. But up until week 14,
let's look at help.
Brady's got not played.
Let's look at help, shall we? Who has the most help?
Nice help.
Pro Football Focus ranks Green Bay's defense the 4th best in overall grade. 4th best. Tampa Bay's is 9th best. So he's fighting an uphill battle.
He's fighting an uphill battle.
Has been decimated. What is the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe told me regularly? That Tampa Bay defense ain't what it used to be last year, right?
No. That's not what you said. Everybody came back and said they were going to be better. Tom Brady ran his mouth. Clyde Christensen ran his mouth. We're going to be better. Be better.
Okay, so I'm going to give you offensive line. Tampa's is ranked a little better. It's actually second best. But wait a second. Aaron's is a top 10. It's ranked 8th best.
How many Pro Bowlers does Aaron Rodgers have in his offensive line, and how many do you have?
All right, I just gave you that. I'm going to give you that.
Okay, you got 3 Pro Bowlers.
Now we're going to receiving core. Who does Pro Football Focus rank the number 1 best receiver in all of pro football? It's Aaron's guy, Devontae. Does Devontae help make Aaron what he is? Sure he does. How about, let's go to running back, shall we? A.J. Dillon is now ranked, or graded out, as the 2nd best running back in pro football by Pro Football Focus. That's interesting.
What about Lombardi Lenny?
He's gone.
No, but what was he ranked? I mean, you love Lombardi Lenny. Now all of a sudden you like Dillon.
Well, they do. I'm just telling you what they say. Okay, so let's go down the receiving list here. The next receiver that we find that's Tampa Bay's is all the way down at 10th is Chris Godwin. Unfortunately, he's gone now for the season. God bless him.
Where's the
and Mike Evans is listed all the way down at, he's graded tied for 49th.
Okay.
Tied for 49th.
Okay, so we got, so y'all got a 10.
If you do overall grade of receiving core, Pro Football Focus says Green Bay's is 4th, Tampa's is 15th. How is Tom Brady putting up those numbers with a mediocre, a middling receiving core?
Oh, it's middling now.
Well, that's what they say, 15th.
You see what interesting. Now you poo-poo Mike Evans. Now you poo-poo Gronk.
I'm not I'm just.
Is Gronk on the team? Is Gronk on the team?
Yep,
is Gronk the GOAT tight end?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
The other night, what did he do? He had 11 targets and he caught 2 for 29 yards.
He had a bad game, Skip. But you didn't say that against Atlanta. You didn't say that when he was lighting it up and he did what he did to Atlanta.
How many games did Gronk miss? What was it, 6 or 7 games? He was gone for a long time.
You talk about stories. Can I ask you a question, Skip? You tell me the better story of Tom Brady winning his 4th MVP at 44 or Aaron Rodgers winning his 4th going back-to-back. What's the better story?
While immunized?
Skip, what's the better story? Tom Brady winning his 4th MVP at 44, 4 at 44, or Aaron Rodgers. You know, sport, in a situation like this, what about the story? What about the narrative?
You are not acknowledging Brady hate among the media. It's out there.
Everybody got Brady.
It was dormant for a while, but all of a sudden it reared its ugly head because Tom invited it right into the living room.
So what about Aaron? What about Aaron? And you know, Rodgers hate after he keeps going back on the Pat McAfee show and saying what he's saying, there is no hate?
Apparently not. I don't sense any from across the table.
Skip, the man saying what he said.
Did he not hurt his football team?
Yes. Oh, your guy hurt his football team with that performance. Did he not hurt his team? 0 points?
Well, again, I just demonstrated to you his performance wasn't as bad as Aaron's performance against
one guy hold on, first of all, they both lost. So let's just go ahead and clear that out there.
Yeah.
But your guy had 0 points. 0. You mean to tell me he didn't get in field goal range?
No,
okay.
He did not. Your guy was pathetic. 133 passing yards and 2 picks and no touchdowns?
Hold on. Your guy, all I know is one guy has the number 1 seed. One guy is 30-4. Your guy's turned the ball over 14 times. One guy's turned the ball over 4 times. One guy is the number 1 seed. Number 1.
Would you believe your guy last year won MVP with 48 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions?
Yes.
Well, how can you come back and win back-to-back when this year looks like a shell of last year, a shadow of last year. Right? How do you do that?
Because everything, you want everything to be about numbers. But if you watch the games and you watch what he's doing, all I know is this. In 2.5 years, Tom Brady has thrown more interceptions in one season, this year alone, with 3 games to go, than Aaron Rodgers has thrown in 2.5 years. That is factual.
How about touchdown passes?
Look it up.
Yep.
Look it up.
48 last year?
Look it up.
What's he got now, like 20-something?
30.
Oh, 30
and 4.
He's all the way up to 30.
So let me ask you a question. Is the season over?
He's only 18 shy of what he was last year.
Okay.
And you're over there pushing MVP?
No, Skip. See, if you just base it on numbers, it can't just be about numbers. Because you have to also look at the games and look at how well he's playing. Look, what he did in Arizona on that short week is more impressive than anything Tom has done this year. Take everything else aside. If you want to cancel out the New Orleans game, both lost. There's no good way to say, well, he played better or he played worse. You both lost to a common opponent. But nothing Tom has done is comparable to what, because at the time, Arizona was 7-0. At the time, they had just come out, they beat the brakes off of Tennessee. They had gone on the road, beat the brakes off the Rams. They were flying high, and he went there with a banged up team and beat them on a short week. That's more impressive than anything Tom has done this year.
Yeah, but if Kyler threw a ball that should have won the game.
Skip,
Am I right?
Skip, you know how sports work. If the ball had gone in, this team would have won at the buzzer.
I know, but it's a pass that is thrown perfectly. It's a touchdown pass that wins the football game.
Skip.
It's over.
No, you can't do it like that, Skip. You can't.
Well, I'm doing it.
You
because
did.
It should have been
but
done.
You lost.
Okay. Well,
I didn't do it, and you still lost.
So, in the end, these numbers I just gave you, they just scream that actually Tom's done more for a decimated team on his side than Aaron's done for his team.
Let me ask you a question. When did the team become decimated? I just need to know when they became decimated.
Well, all year long, the Bucs have. It's been the injury gods have said no to them from the start.
So their best offense, the Green Bay's best offensive lineman, David Bakhtiari, has yet to play. He's been a many-time All-Pro. He's been a Pro Bowl player. He has yet to play. Their second best offensive lineman tears his ACL in place of him. They've lost another, Billy Turner. He's also gone out. Devontae, he's missed time.
One game.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Come on now, Skip. Robert Tonyan, his best tight end, he's out. His other tight end, Mercedes Lewis, was playing unbelievable. But if I'm not mistaken, he's in year 15 or year 16. He's not Gronk.
How does this narrative start that Aaron doesn't have enough help? Because everything I just told you, it smacks of Aaron has way more help than Tom does.
Hold on. First of all, now you see, now you poo-poo Tom. At first, it was about Tom and what he did. He took the Succaneers. That is the same team that he wanted to run it back with. So are they still the Succaneers? Now he's losing the MVP, but like I said, it's still a long way to go. Now he doesn't have enough help. You see, that's why people get upset with Tom Brady. It's because when Tom Brady lose,
it's
you
always
blame
my fault.
Yes, you and others like you. You blame when Tom lose, it's everybody else's fault but Tom. But when he wins, you don't give anybody no credit.
Well, you won't acknowledge that Aaron has the better defense. Aaron has the better running game overall. Aaron has by far the best receiving core overall because he's got the best receiver in
football.
First of
all, Pro Football Focus said Tampa Bay Buccaneers had the best receiving core. At the beginning of the year, they didn't say that.
But we're talking about performance and grade.
I'm just saying at the beginning of the year, you say that Tampa Bay Buccaneer receiving core. It was better than Kansas City. As a matter of fact, Dallas and Tampa Bay was right there 1-2.
Okay, they were defending champs, and everybody came back, and they added Gio Bernard, and now it feels like they're all gone.
So what's the deal? So what's the problem?
What's the problem?
Yeah, I mean, Tom had a second because we're going to be so much better than what we were. You remember Clyde Christensen was running his yap? Okay, be better.
Okay, but the injury god said, no.
Hold on. Did the injury god just cast their hand down on Tampa? So nobody else is injured. No other team has injuries.
Well, they do, but you won't acknowledge the fact or defend the fact that Green Bay's offense is 14th in points scored, and you're trying to push the quarterback for MVP over the team that has the number 1 point scored with Tom Brady?
Yes, and let me tell you why, and I'm glad you brought that up. He has the 14th ranked offense, but got them in the number 1 seed. Your guy has the number 1 offense, and he has them in the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
That's why he's number 1.
Yeah, but there
it is.
The defense has been...
No, it's the defense's fault.
Well, you've been saying it all year.
But you didn't give him that. Hold on. What about what the defense did in the Super Bowl? All you yapped about with Tom Brady.
Year. That was last year. Got to update.
I promise you that. We will get back to this. We have not come to a conclusion here. We're moving on. No mercy. LeBron and the Lakers right now, they sit at 500. And with Anthony Davis sidelined, the pressure to win persists after trade rumors started swirling online that LeBron could force his way out of the losing situation. The Kings agent, Rich Paul, told an NBA insider there was no chance his client would be traded from LA. So, Shannon, what do you make of this?
That's just speculation, because I think the thing is, Skip, what we've seen with LeBron, when he believes he cannot win in a situation, he'll leave it. We saw what he did in Cleveland the first time around. He went to Miami. When he felt that he could no longer, the guys were not around him, D-Wade started to break down a little bit. The players around him, he felt he couldn't win. What did he do? He went back to Cleveland. When he felt he could no longer win in Cleveland, after Kyrie had left, Kevin Love wasn't the same player. They couldn't put pieces around him. He played his contract out. He booked it up and came to L.A. And when he got to L.A., he thought he had some nice young pieces. He said, but I can't win here. I need you to get me some help. And they moved a lot of those young pieces. Lonzo Ball, who's playing well. Brandon Ingram turned himself into an all-star. Josh Hart is a glue guy, 3-and-D guy, playing very well for Anthony Davis. So for me, and I know they say, well, hold on. We saw him leave Cleveland, go to Miami, back to Cleveland, come to L.A. When he starts to lose, he doesn't like that. But this is where LeBron wants to be. Everything that LeBron wants to try to accomplish off the court is based right here. I don't see a scenario, especially right now, Skip, even after next year. I think the only way LeBron, if he had multiple years left on his contract and his son, Bronny, were to go and someone else drafts him, I can see it being a Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr. situation where he says, I want to play with my son for a year.
Yep.
Other than that, Skip, I don't see a scenario, even as bad and as grim as it looks currently, I don't see a scenario where LeBron James forces a trade. L.A. is where he wants to be. He uprooted his family. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I feel very comfortable in saying this, that Savannah loves it here. So I don't see a scenario, Skip, where LeBron James forces his way out of L.A. This is where he wants to be. For after basketball, he gets to get a head start because he's here. Maverick is here. Everything, his whole business operation is now set up in L.A. And so I don't see a situation where he wants to leave. I understand that he's frustrated because it's all about championships now, Skip. Nothing else matters. Yeah, the record, he'd love to get that record also. And he believes that, hold on, why can't I kill two birds with one stone? Why can't I compete for titles and also get the record? And it doesn't look like the latter, Skip, winning a title is in play this year. Unless something unforeseen, they can swing a trade. We're going to talk about that a little later.
Okay.
If they can swing something blockbuster. But I don't see a scenario in which LeBron James leads this Lakers team, even as bad as it is currently.
Okay, so I think you just told me that now that LeBron has accepted the fact that he can't catch Michael Jordan, that he'll stay in L.A. and chase Michael B. Jordan, as I thought from the start.
But let me ask you a question. Go where?
Go LeBron?
Yeah.
But if he wants out?
Yes. Where would he go? Golden State? Go to Brooklyn? Where's he going to go that gives him an opportunity to win? Go to Philly? He had an opportunity to go to Philly and play with Joel Embiid.
He did. I give you all that. I don't think he's going anywhere, but I've told you from the start, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere. You've thought from the start he's gone over here, Denver, San Francisco, on and on and on. And the rumors persist.
Right.
Well, I've always said that Aaron Rodgers is the LeBron James of the National Football League, and he is wily in the way he manipulates the media because he's always planting seeds of, I got to get out of here, so that Packer Nation will be at his feet every day and night saying, please don't leave, Aaron, please don't leave.
Even at least Packers organization would be at his back and
Well, even after he fell to 1-4 in NFC Championship games and stunk it up against Brady on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Okay, now back to LeBron James. This was a bolt out of the blue for me. This hit me right between the eyes and knocked me over last night. What? The Lakers would trade LeBron? And I think it also hit Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka right between the eyes, and they looked at each other like, what?
No,
we're not discussing trading LeBron James.
I think the thing is that people see the losing and knowing that when he feels he doesn't have a chance to win a championship, Skip, what does he do? But what we've never seen LeBron do is force his way out during the middle of a contract. He always plays his contract out.
That is true. I give you that. He's always done it the right way.
He's always done that, Skip.
Okay, I got it. Okay, yeah, Shams, I think he either called Rich or Paul called Shams. I'm not sure which way it was. He said, we communicated.
Right.
And he said, once and for all, LeBron is not leaving Los Angeles.
Right.
Duh. I mean, I never thought, like, who thought that he would leave L.A.?
Right.
I don't care how bad it gets. He's in year 19. To me, this is the best place to live in the country.
Yeah.
I guess you could talk about Palm Springs or somewhere, but I'm talking about Los Angeles, California. I'm talking about Hollywood.
Can we do away with the taxes? Can we do away with the taxes?
If we could do away with that, it would be heaven on earth, but we can't do away with that.
Okay.
Yeah, if we could do away with the earthquakes and okay, we can do that. I got it. But the point is,
fair point.
It is a great place to live.
It is.
I do believe his family loves it here.
I do.
And I believe he loves it here because you are so close to Hollywood, California.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of all the action. And he's already segueing into that field, and he will dominate that field in the same ways he's dominated professional basketball. He's already started that. But the point is, to your point, where else does he want to go? Well, I can't even make it go in my brain because I can't start thinking about, well, he could go. No, he can't. He's not going to. I give you, if he's like 40 years old and Bronny's somewhere, right, and he wants to go for one last ceremonial hurrah so I can say I played with my kid a little bit.
Yes.
That's great. Who knows where that could be? Because then it would depend who drafted Bronny. Maybe nobody. Maybe he won't be good enough to be drafted. Maybe somebody will just sign him and give him a shot. And maybe LeBron say, I'll come along for the ride. I don't know. But that's 3 years out probably, right? 3 years out. Where will LeBron be at that stage and age? Who knows? Okay, so I'm just dealing with this right now. And to me, at least Rich Paul actually answered the question and gave it credibility. Like, no, he's going nowhere. And it surprised me because you would think Rich would say, what? Well, why are you asking me that question? But it didn't seem like Shams got that answer, right?
Right.
Why is that? Well, LeBron wants it known he's not happy. Right? Like, this is not what he signed up for. Yeah. Although it was his choice to sign all these players, right? He pretty much handpicked this team. And you said from the start, to your credit, Buddy Hield deal's sitting right under your nose. It's right there on hair trigger. And at the last second, he says, no, I want Russ. Yeah. It's box office. It's surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. And maybe if I have to miss some games, he and AD can get us through the night. If we have to go to Oklahoma City and win a game, well, no, not so much, right? Yeah. Okay, so LeBron has to take some responsibility for the formation of a basketball team where he wanted Carmelo and he wanted Dwight to come back.
Skip, it's like, Ernestine said, well, Skip, I'm thinking about getting this. You okay with that? You're like, yeah. And then when she gets it and bring it home, you're like, why'd you get that ugly thing? You said it was okay. Well, you got to bear some responsibility for that ugly thing being in the house because she did ask you, Skip, I'm going to get this. And you said, okay.
Okay, I got it. So as we sit here, they're 16-16.
Yes.
And obviously, LeBron's played very well. Yes. I'm going to give you that. Yes. And he hasn't always been there because he's had some injury issues. And we
got suspended. He got injuries, got suspended, he did. COVID.
And it looked like the other night he turned his ankle again. And I don't even know, is he going to play tonight? I guess it's maybe a game time. It looked like he played the rest of the game and he looked fine. Right. Okay. So again, I'm going to knock on wood. I don't even like to talk about that. But the point is this. They sit in the 6th seed right now, and LeBron doesn't do 6 seeds, right? Like, it's just not who he is. So if you look behind them, Dallas is in the 7th seed at 15-15, and then Denver, you love your man Joker, they're also sitting at 15-15, but they just lost at Oklahoma City last night, and Joker was terrible. He was a -15. They lost 108-94. Is that possible?
He only had like 12, 13 points.
He had 13, 7, and 3. This is the same Oklahoma City team that had lost at Memphis by 73 points, although they just recently went back to Memphis and got revenge.
They did, yeah.
And that was with Ja back in the lineup. Okay, so is Denver still dangerous? Sure they are.
Yeah.
And here comes Minnesota at 9. Are they? Yes, they're dangerous. Is Portland? Yes, they're dangerous. So all these teams, even Dallas, if Luka is going to come out of COVID protocol at some point, are they all dangerous? Will they all start to threaten the Lakers? Yes, they will. The Lakers now rank 25th in offensive efficiency. So it's just like the other night was a microcosm where LeBron was really good on offense, and they scored 90 points. They scored 38 total points in the second half. They rank 25th overall in offensive efficiency. That's a LeBron James team? That's ridiculous.
What makes it even worse, Skip, they're worse than that in turnover-wise, and they're probably worse than, if not as bad, defensively.
Okay.
So you got a team that can't score, you got a team that can't stop anybody from scoring, and the
by
team
the way,
that turns
they
it
are
over.
second in the NBA in turnovers, mostly because of Westbrook.
Right. So you bad defensively,
Okay.
Skip. You bad offensively.
You know what? They've actually risen up to 8th in overall defensive efficiency.
How?
I don't know, but they are 8th as we speak. But last year, they were first.
Right.
I'm thinking, where did all that go? I don't get it. You know, you signed older players. Russ is not going to give you much on defense. He'll give you a little here and there, but not that much. I thought Dwight would help, but Dwight didn't play that much.
Yeah.
Okay? And Avery Bradley is a really good perimeter defender. Well, he's been in and out of the lineup, and he hasn't had that much overall impact. But 8th is not horrible. You can sort of live with the 8th.
I'm trying to figure out how they got to 8th.
Okay, well, here's what you can't live with. They're 15th in three-point shooting, 34.9, which is exactly what LeBron is shooting, 34.9, which is pretty much, he's a below-average three-point shooter, so that's where he is. Worst of all, they are 3rd worst in the NBA in free throw shooting. You're going to lose games.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's not good enough. And Russ is the primary perpetrator here. Russell Westbrook is horrendous in both three-point shooting and free throw shooting. So it's hard to overcome Russell Westbrook, but that was on you. You wanted him, and you got it.
Hey, who? I ain't know you. Ain't no you.
Well, I'm talking to LeBron.
Oh, like, okay. Yeah, they, not me.
You did not want him. Okay? So in the end, if he's fed up with this, he's culpable. He's responsible for a lot of it. But you know, again, is Rich Paul trying to help plant some excuses like, well, if you aren't careful, he's going to want out of here? Well, I don't think he's going to want out. And I don't think Jeannie's going to lose any sleep over LeBron demanding a trade because it's a stage and an age of his life when he's not in position to do that.
And plus, Skip, I think the thing is that LeBron is being the player that he is. He can just go to Jeannie.
Okay.
I cut the middleman out. Yeah, Rich normally handles that, but if there's something really pressing that I got on my chest, I'll just go to Jeannie. I just pick up the phone and call Jeannie. Jeannie, let's have a meeting. Let's meet at some restaurant back. Hey, I'll sneak in, you sneak in, and we'll meet.
Okay, and say I want out?
No, just have a conversation on the state of the team. Rob, hey, bring Rob. And say, look, this is where we are. It's not what I thought we were going to be. I understand injury's been a part of it, but pre-injuries, this thing was not heading in the right direction.
Yep. So, to me, I've always had the highest regard for what I consider the highest basketball IQ in the game, and it's LeBron James. And yet, this move to want Russ was what I would call Jordan-esque, because Michael, as a GM and a team builder, has not been very good. In fact, he's been horrible until maybe this young man named Ball can maybe turn some of that around.
You said LeBron has the highest what? Basketball IQ. Mm-hmm. So if his basketball IQ is what you say it is, he knows what this team isn't.
Okay.
Championship caliber contender.
But he did sit there after the game the other night and say, well, you got to give it some time because we haven't been together enough.
Okay, what's he supposed to say? We suck?
He's capable of saying that.
No, leave that to us.
Okay.
We say that for him. Well, there's enough people on panels sitting around talking about the late. Skip, you're
once upon a time in our first year on this show, I think we were at the Super Bowl in 2016 after that season in Houston. And it was one of those days when LeBron said his Cavaliers were top heavy as.
Well, guess what?
Because it was Kyrie and Kevin Love and LeBron at the top. And he was saying, I ain't got nothing below that.
He can't even say that now.
Okay.
Because he ain't got nothing but him.
There's no top heavy.
Yeah,
they're not top heavy or bottom heavy.
Exactly.
Right?
So he can't even say, Skip, he knows. He knows.
Okay, well, the problem here is when they do get Kendrick Nunn back, that's going to help. And when they do get Austin Reeves out of COVID, that will help. And Avery and all those players, they're going to have decent depth at some point.
Well, how about this here? Well, tell me what's going to help them shoot better from the three. Tell me what's going to help Russell shoot better from the free throw line and stop turning the ball over. Where is the help coming for that?
Where are they going to defend at the highest level? Yeah. They're not. So what LeBron is having to realize, and he knows it quicker than anybody, is, okay, can we maybe get to the 5 or the 4 seed? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you can. But he's looking at top heavy as you know what is at the top of the West.
Yeah, the Phoenix and Golden State are clear cut. It's them two and nobody else is close, Skip.
And Utah's in the mix somewhere.
Yeah,
I'll give you they're not up there with those two.
Right.
But Utah is serious business for me because they look better than they even looked the last couple of years.
Well, they can get hot from 3, Skip. They can shoot you out the building with the 3. They can go make 25 threes at the blink of a hat. Donovan Mitchell can get hot and take a ball game over. Rudy Gobert is playing really, really well.
Right.
But the Lakers, and that's what, Skip, we saw. They were right in the ball game for a half.
They were.
They were, what, 54-52? And then Phoenix stepped on the gas.
And it was a mismatch, and you could just see it on the floor. You are overmatched.
There's no worse feeling as being a professional. You're right there.
Yep.
Like, oh, yeah, we doing good. And then to see a team hit the gas on you. Damn, we were right there.
Okay, so as you said, we're about to talk about it. Give us a few more minutes here because we got to talk about the Dallas Cowboys first. But the point is, Sean's also saying they are in the trade market like gangbusters because they're just going to try to save the day here for LeBron.
Skip, you know what? I've been house hunting. I ain't got no money, but I'm house hunting. They window shopping. Like 50 cents, you window shopper. What you guys, Skip, what is your bar? We're going to talk about this. I just want to know what their bargaining chip is. I want to know what they're willing to trade.
What's the
At
selling
this point, it's got to be Anthony Davis, right? Because you're done with him.
Well, and that's hard to sell at this point. I do like window shopping, though. Sometimes you just look.
That's what the Lakers do right now in the trade market.
They are definitely window shopping. We'll get back to them. We need to discuss Skip's team and a particularly impressive young talent. Micah Parsons got an early Christmas gift yesterday, becoming the first Cowboys rookie to make the Pro Bowl since Dak and Zeke in 2016. And when talking about his success this season, the linebacker credited defensive coordinator Dan Quinn saying, quote, he tries to make sure he lets everyone eat. They're part of the lion pack now. There is no more lone lion. It's the pride now. Everybody has got to get a piece of the gazelle when you get your opportunity. You got to make sure you finish because I know those other guys will. Shannon, do you like what Micah had to say here? I love it.
And Skip, this is the way you have to be in this defense. What Dan Quinn plays is a cover 1, cover 3, what we call robber, Skip, dropping the safety down, he picking off crossers. But in this scheme, Skip, it's not like a Coach Belichick a 2-gap where you keep guys off your linebackers and the linebackers. Nah, bro, let me eat. If you look at Dan Quinn, if you look at Gus Bradley, when they had the Seattle Seahawks at their best, everybody ate. KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner, Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill, Sherm, Bobby, Cam, Earl Thomas. Everybody ate. So nobody feels left out. So they're like, man, y'all got me taking on, I'm a dummy. Y'all got me holding on blocks so Micah Parsons can run free. Nah, bro, I ain't trying to do that. Y'all got me doing this so somebody else can eat. I'm hungry too. Let me get a bite of this. So everybody feels that they're a part of it. They found a way. And I said what they should do is that when D-Law comes back, on third down, kick D-Law down inside. Put Micah Parsons on one edge, put Randy Gregory, and you have a rotation. Okay, whoever get into the quarterback, that's how you're going to play. Dorrance Armstrong, Gallimore, all these guys. Look, but I got 3 guys going to be on the field on pass rushing downs all the time. Gregory, Parsons, and D-Law. All the rest of y'all, have at it. But the guys are eating. The guys feel like they're a part of it, Skip. If you look at Tom, what did Tom do? He threw the ball to Brashard Perriman. He just got there. And he threw it in the game-winning walk-off touchdown. Chris Godwin, you open, you getting the ball. Gronk, you open, you getting the ball. Mike Evans, you open, you getting the ball. Everybody feels a part of it. So that's what you got. And normally the successful teams, when you have teams like that, be it offensively or defensively, everybody gets to eat. Everybody's going to be happy. Everybody's going to ball out because everybody's a part of this. And I love what Micah Parsons says. Hey, it ain't no lone lion. We ain't no rogue male here. We are pride, and we all eat. It might not be much, Skip, but we all going to get a taste of this gazelle. I love what he said. And you can tell, Skip, we haven't seen them play like this on defense. Everybody's sincere. Dan Quinn reminds me, Skip, of your guy, Sean McVay. You see when they do something defensively, he up there with the halfback when he going crazy.
I told you, I wish he was back on the sidelines like he was at New Orleans.
Well, he would be, if he was on the sideline, he'd be just like Sean McVay. Because you see how Sean McVay hightail it down the field every time somebody does something good. But, Skip, I love this. And you can tell the way they're playing for one another. And this is why they're having the success they're having.
I hear everything you just said. And I'm going to preface my rant here by saying I love this young man. He does say all the right things. It's a fine line between arrogance and humility, and he's walking it because he's got healthy arrogance to him. Every once in a while, he'll say something that rubs you a little bit the wrong way. Can you back that up? Yeah, he can. He is coachable. He is teachable. And I think he's not a good teammate. I think he's a great teammate because he has changed the way the defense plays football. I believe that everybody actually feeds off Micah Parsons psychologically. Because they walk on the field thinking, we got this kid, and they don't. 11 from heaven. Okay. Now back to this quote. I read it, and part of me loved it, and the rest of me, it just tore my guts out because it's just so wrong what he's saying. It's right, but it's wrong. Because, everybody's eating. Everybody gets a little piece of the dying gazelle. Of the carcass. But he slayed the carcass.
Now you want to be all of it.
Gazelle. There's only one king of this jungle, and it's Micah bleepin' Parsons. He is extraordinary. You saw it before I saw it. But now he has taken over this one side of the ball, and he has flipped it. As Mike McCarthy said, I told you I've agreed with only one thing Mike McCarthy's ever said. I've never seen one side of the ball get flipped from one year to the next like we flipped our defense. It's because 11 fell out of heaven right into your laps. You didn't even want him. You wanted Patrick Surtain. By the way, he should have made the Pro Bowl, I thought. But whatever.
He's playing unbelievable.
Nobody from Denver, but your safety should have made it too.
Justin Simmons.
He's a terror, man. Okay, but the point is, I'm going to say this again. I believe that as great as Dan Quinn is, the greatest job as he's done, he has cost Micah Parsons Defensive Player of the Year. Player of the Year. Because it'll come down to sacks, and you keep saying T.J. Watt, he's at 17.5, and the record is within reach. And then Robert Quinn is at 16. And
y'all had Robert Quinn at one point in time, Skip.
I know. And Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa at 15, and my guys down here at 12. Pro Football Focus grades my guy as an inside linebacker because that's the position. That's what he made the Pro Bowl at, was inside linebacker. But it grades him as the single best pass rusher as an inside linebacker.
Well, he is because he rushes more. He and Devin White rushes more than any other inside back.
Okay, here's the killer stat for me. Micah Parsons has played 791 snaps so far this year. Think about that, 791. He has rushed the passer 267 times. Only 267? I mean, that's obviously way less than half the snaps. He doesn't rush the passer. And every time I look up when I least expect it, as if we could see what happened last Sunday at New York, I look up and he's downfield breaking up a pass on a wide receiver, Kenny Golladay. And here he made a great move, an instinctive move. I thought they were going to throw the flag on it because he didn't look really around for the ball quickly enough. He just sort of ran through it. But they didn't call a flag, so he broke up a potential touchdown pass at the goal line, and it ended up being a pretty big play in the game. So I'll give you the value of that. But remember Thursday night at New Orleans? I look up, if we could see this one, he's way downfield near the goal line, breaking up a deep throw to my little man, Kenny Stills. No longer on the Saints, but maybe Kenny should have caught the ball, but Mike actually disrupted that one. Okay? So I'm going to give you those, but what does he do by far the best? He rushes the passer. I love him standing up on the edge like Von Miller. I love him standing up, dare I say, like Lawrence Taylor. I'm not saying he's Lawrence Taylor, but he has a burst. He has raw strength and explosive athleticism you just don't see. Well, utilize it. Don't try to outsmart yourself. Don't try to coach with your ego. NFL, look at me. I used to be the head coach in Atlanta. And by the way, do you remember I got Atlanta to a Super Bowl? We were up 28-3 in that Super Bowl. Remember me? I'm Dan Quinn. I want to be a head coach again. So watch what I do with Micah Parsons. I'm going to utilize him all over the field because I'm smarter than you are. No, you're not. You're stupider than everybody.
Well, if he'd had Micah Parsons, he might have been able to hold on to that 28-3.
Okay, he just well might have.
But I think the thing
I'm just saying it's criminal misuse of this kid's greatest skill. he is the lion.
Skip, you can't run if he's listed as an inside backer.
Okay,
you can't
I don't care what he's listed at. Do you have to be labeled and you're stuck where they said you're the inside linebacker?
Skip,
so what?
Skip, they rush you more than any other backer.
Okay, sometimes he stands up in the middle of the line.
Right.
I'll give you that. And you called this first. There's a great quote from DeMarcus Lawrence because it is Micah Parsons who has allowed D-Law to move inside, and he said he loves it. He says
slow guards can't block D-Law.
Yeah, he says they can't chip me anymore.
Yeah.
I get to line up. I have a more direct shot. He said at the passer, right? Okay. Well, he's kind of liking that.
Of course.
Okay. So you make him feel a little better about himself. And Randy Greger's over there saying, "Oh, nobody's chipping me now because they're looking for 11." Right?
Yes.
Everybody wants to stop 11 from getting to the quarterback.
Right.
Well, to me, when he drops back into pass coverage, I'm talking about deep drops into pass coverage where he is often on wideouts.
Right.
Well, when that happens, the offensive coordinator or the quarterback they're not fooled. They're sighing with relief. They're like, God, we don't have to deal with this kid in the backfield now.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, is that what Dan tries to do is that he tries to find. I give you Aaron Donald, for example, Skip. On third down, you don't have to worry about what Aaron Donald thinks of you. Because if he's lined up over you, he feels you're the weakness. Because what he does, they'll line him up at the 9, they put him in a 7, they'll put him in a 9, they'll put him in a 5, they'll put him in a 3, the shade. So
how many times do they zone blitz him where he just drops out and does pass? Has it happened ever in his career?
No, Aaron Donald dropped it on your quarterback's head.
Thank you.
But I think if you look at what Dan Quinn has done, Skip, he's gotten guys. Both of the safeties are new. They brought in he was a safety, and they put a Keanu Neal. They put him at linebacker.
And he's been pretty good.
Micah Parsons. So what they did is that they got guys to fit the scheme. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid that Mike Nolan tried to fit his scheme to the guys.
I got it.
D-Law is not a stand-up. He's a 4-3 defensive end, hand in the dirt. And if you want to bump him inside, Skip, on pass rushing downs, have at it.
Not that bad for him. Yeah. I mean, it's not that different for him.
He's shaved because now he's going against guys that are slower. The guards are really slow. They might be more powerful, but they're slower. So now he can get on an edge. He's closer to the quarterback as opposed to putting him in a wide 9.
Okay.
And he can't get chipped like he said. But I just think, Skip, they're just trying to find ways. And like you said, they'll line him, stand him up. They'll put him on the guard. They'll put him on the left, put him on the right. All they're doing is just trying to find a weakness. So if you see Micah Parsons and he's lined up on you, you're it.
Okay, question. You played against Lawrence Taylor, right?
No, he tore his Achilles. I played against Derek Thomas.
Yeah, there you go.
Let
me ask you this about Lawrence Taylor, the great Lawrence Taylor, the greatest defensive player ever in many people's eyes.
Yes.
Did you ever see him downfield covering a wide receiver?
No, not wide receiver. Skip, I mean, mainly in what they played a 3-4. He was always in the 3-4 defense. And normally 3-4 defensive ends, they play hook to flat. So you got the flat, you got the hook zone. That's as far as he's going.
Maybe you got the back coming out of the back.
Yeah. Hook the flat. I mean, you take him on a rim right, but back then they wasn't sending the back down the field 30, 40 yards down the field like they do now, Skip. So no, but Skip, I think the thing as it progresses, they're going to find more and more, and he'll probably eventually, Skip. But how do you play him at the end as a linebacker when you play a 43 defense? Because it's not like they play a 34 defense where he would always be like TJ Watt on the end of the line of scrimmage and he'd be able to come 85% of the time.
You just figure it out because you got what you got. You got a gift from above and you have to maximize that gift. So I ask you, he's rushed 267 times out of 791 snaps on the field. What if he had rushed...
You want to rush half of those times,
Okay, what if he'd rushed 500 times instead of 260?
That's too many.
Okay, 500 out of 791. I don't think it's too many because when I see it, my eyes tell me that's rare. We haven't had that for a long time.
Skip. They do run the ball. You can't pass, rush, and run. Okay. So let's just say for the sake of argument, he rushed 300 times of those 7. So you like to see him get at least, you said 267?
Yeah, 267 pass rushes so far.
Give him 30 more pass rushes.
He has 12 out of 267, 12 sacks. I didn't look up how many rushes that TJ Watt has, but he'll zone blitz occasionally where he'll back up and try to knock the pass down in the short zone. Yeah. But the point is, I promise you, he has rushed the passer more than 267 times. So it's a matter of, you talk about Brady, well, he's just throwing more passes. Right. He has more completions, he's throwing more passes. Well, TJ Watt has a chance to break Michael Strahan's record because he rushes the passer so many times.
But the defenses are totally different, Skip. TJ is in a 3-4, 34 defense, and and Micah's in a 43 defense.
Okay, well then you're not adapting your defense to your talent.
But Skip, so you want them to go? You want them to scrap the 43 and go to a 34?
On the fly, yes, you do. You just figure out ways to do it. Well, you're chuckling about it, and I'm just over here losing my mind because I saw flashes of Defensive Player of the Year, and I started talking a month ago.
Yeah.
Stop it with the Rookie of the Year. No, this is Defensive Player of the Year.
Skip, there'll be times, Skip, if there's no shame.
Yeah, you love what it is because you don't have to deal with Micah Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year, but he could have been.
He still could be, Skip.
I don't think
Skip,
so.
there 3 games left.
Yeah.
What happens if he goes on a stretch where he ends up with 16 sacks, and he causes 2 more forced fumbles?
Guess what he had at New York the other day?
He had none.
He had 0 sacks, 0 pressures, and 1 assisted tackle. Well, you can't sell that as Defensive Player of the Year, so I just threw up my hands and said, it's over.
Well, Skip, everybody has those type of games.
And it felt like he rushed the passer like 3 times, and it was Mike Glennon who was so rushable.
One of his better games was against Washington football team, and he gets them again.
Okay. Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. So
how about 4 sacks? How about Dan Quinn come to his senses and actually rush him? I don't know.
Okay. I mean, Skip, even if he does rush, sometimes D-Law and Gregory are going to beat him to the punch.
Yeah.
It's not like they're waiting to, you go ahead, bro, get this.
Micah
We're talking about the
no
king
doubt
of the jungle.
been a bright spot. No mercy. Celebrate Christmas with a boom. Fox Sports proudly presents a documentary tribute to one of football's most beloved figures, the coach, the broadcaster, the video game. All Madden premieres Christmas Day, 2 Eastern on Fox. Cannot wait. Couple days away. And boy, I'm looking forward to this one. The current situation, guys, the Lakers, well, they sit at 16-16 and don't have the appearance of a contender. With Anthony Davis out yet again, now there are reports that the purple and gold are active in the trade market. 76ers All-Star Ben Simmons is at the top of their holiday wish list, and the Lakers would reportedly, quote, love to get him on their team. So, Shannon, would the Lakers trade AD for Simmons?
Why? Why in the hell would I put Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook on the same team?
Well, you're done with AD.
Yeah, but Skip, I'll trade AD for Nikola Jokic, trade AD for Dame Lillard, or Joel Embiid. I'm not trading for no Ben Simmons and to pair him with Russ. So let this thing get, Skip. Your backcourt, now unless you move Russ, but I'm assuming that Russ is still there. Your backcourt is Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons.
Your backcourt?
Yes.
Well, what's LeBron doing?
LeBron, so wherever you play. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, we don't know, they're going to be positionless. You're going to have a team in a starting 5 with Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook.
Okay, and?
Bricks.
What's the problem?
Bricks.
Really?
Bricks, blocks, cinder blocks, cement boulders.
Okay.
That's the problem. Skip, I get it. AD has not played well. He didn't play well last year, and I think he was off to an even worse start this year. But he's still only 28 years old. Even though he's injury prone, he's had a propensity to be nicked, with the exception of year 1, Skip. Go back and look at his history in New Orleans, he was always nicked. If you look at since he's been here after that first year, he's been nicked. But I'm not trading for Ben Simmons. No. No, like I said, you want to give me Jokic or Embiid or Dame? Sure. We got something for you.
Okay, well, you're not going to get Jokic or Embiid. But the Dame would be probably on the table.
Skip, right now the Lakers are window shopping. It reminds me of when I was in college, my homeboys, but they would load up in the car. I'm like, man, where y'all going? Man, we going to the mall. I said, y'all ain't got no money. Man, Sharpe, we don't need no money. We can just go window shop. That's what the Lakers are doing. They got no trade.
Okay.
They got no trade. Yeah. The only, really, AD, I think, if I was the general manager, they got two players on the Lakers team that I want. One is in year 19, and the other is injured and going to be gone for 4 to 6 weeks. That's it. So it makes no sense. Skip, I get it. The Lakers are trying to move heaven up, and maybe they can find some.
For a while in the offseason, THT was the hottest property, and everybody said, LeBron said no. Rich Paul said no. Lakers said off limits.
And guess what they said now? Yeah. That's what they said right now.
He has been shockingly awful.
He has been.
I don't know what's happened. I don't get it.
Skip, you remember that stretch that he came back And he had those like 3 or 4 games. When LeBron was out, he averaged like 25 points a game. But since then, Skip, he's been bad. I don't know, and I don't know what happened. But Skip, I just don't, and I get it. AD has been a disappointment this year. But I just don't know. Ben Simmons? For what?
Okay, you have never been a Ben fan.
No.
I have been. I think he's being laughably underrated right now. The issue here that gets sticky and tricky is both Ben and AD are clutch clients.
Right.
So it gets a little uncomfortable and awkward between those two. But the reason Ben is being laughably underrated is because he got the free throw demons stuck in the back of his psyche in that playoff series against Atlanta.
What about the shooting the ball demons?
Okay, well, you can argue, but all I know for sure is this. He won Rookie of the Year his first year. That's pretty good, right? And by the way, you were in his corner that year. And I was with Donovan Mitchell all day and all night.
Yeah.
You said, Ben, what did you call him? You had some stupid nickname. I'm sorry, it was a silly nickname, right? Ben Simmons won Rookie of the Year, and the last 3 years, 3 straight years, he's made the All-Star team. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good, right? And in 2020, he led the league in steals. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's pretty good when you're 6 feet 10 inches tall. In the last 2 years, he's made first team all defense. Okay, that's pretty great, I would say. And I keep harking back to one game that I happened to watch one night back in February of 2021, February 15th. Ben Simmons at Utah with no Joel Embiid. He got upset with all this talk about Gobert running away with Defensive Player of the Year. So he just attacked him. And he scored 42 points with 9 rebounds and 12 assists. That's kind of hard to do. He shot 15 of 26 from the floor. He gets them in a variety of ways. He doesn't shoot jump shots or three-point shots. But that night, he went to the free throw line 13 times and made 12 of 13. Okay, so it just showed you he can do that.
Yeah.
He's highly capable. I watched the stroke. It looks good. Left-handed. It's pretty sweet, actually. It looks mechanically sound. It's all in his psyche.
Right.
He got scared of the free throw line, and then he gets ashamed because he has huge pride. And he said, I don't even want to go there and shoot those anymore. And so you know and I know what happened in that flashpoint moment when he turned down a potential dunk, right? Yeah. And that was the flashpoint of the game. But little known fact, you know what he was doing to little, what do I call him, Mice Cube, right? Mice Cube. Yeah. Well, the point was that he was holding him to 5 of 26. He guards 1 through 5. He took the little tiny point guard out of the game.
Yeah, but what the last time we saw Ben Simmons, tell the people at home what his coach and what his the best player on the team had said about him.
It was ugly, which is why he does not want to go back there, and they're dug in on it. And they're trying every way possible to get out. But would he want to come and play for the... You better believe he would, because I'm pretty sure, like everybody else, he's got an off-season home here in L.A.
Yeah, he does.
Okay? So this is just me. If you think that they just need a climate change here, if you want to just change the way you play basketball, bring in Ben Simmons, because...
Can we trade Russ? Or we got to give up AD?
Okay, you're just going to have to work around Russ, because you know and I know you are stuck with Russ, and that's all on LeBron James. Man, you got to wear it and own it.
How we get stuck with him?
Okay, well, LeBron said, I want Russ.
Is this an arranged marriage?
I don't know. Yeah, you're stuck. I mean, is anybody, would you say he makes 44 and then 47?
Yeah, he's got $91 million coming.
Great. That's beautiful. Next 2 years. So who's going to take that off your hand? Even for a box office draw, even for marquee value.
Well, somebody, because we took it off Washington's hand, so somebody will take it off our hands, right?
Okay, Shams also brought up Jeremy Grant, Detroit. I love him. He's really good. He's not a great player.
Yeah.
You know, you can even say he's like a near star as opposed to being an all-star.
But he can
play.
Yeah, but he can go get buckets.
He can go get, his father could get buckets too. So he's got good bloodlines, and he'd make a great Laker. He would be a big upgrade. And you're going to go get him how? With what? Would they take Russ off your hands for 44 and 47
If they try to rebuild, no, that's a young team. Why would you want Russ? If you get rid of Jeremy Grant, who's only in year 6? Why would you bring in Russ, who's in year 12, 13?
Okay, I don't know. So Ben Simmons gives you this. He's 3+ years younger than Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And so far, he had the foot issue his first year. He missed the first year, had to sit out the whole first year, but he's been pretty
relatively healthy.
Okay? AD is not relatively healthy because it's always something with him. So if you want a basketball player, I suggest Ben Simmons right now would be more valuable to you than Anthony Davis. I don't know what's happened to him. He got his ring, and it felt like, it almost felt like he kind of semi-retired, like he's not that into it anymore, because I don't see the RPM anymore. I don't see the urgency in his game.
Outside of that first year in L.A., Skip, when have we ever seen it?
I don't know. Yeah, he was a PER prince in New Orleans.
Right.
But I kept looking at what he did in the postseason. He wasn't like the aircraft carrier who could lift that whole team up. Nope.
But the problem is they got him, and they say, by year 2, year 3, AD was going to be the guy. LeBron is not supposed to be, as great as LeBron is, he shouldn't have to be your best player in year 19. That's AD.
Yeah, it feels like, they talk about type A's. He feels like a type B to me, who wants no part of being the alpha of this team.
But there's a huge responsibility, Skip.
It is, especially in Laker Nation.
Yeah, man, yeah.
I agree.
And Skip, I think LeBron, what we've seen from LeBron, he functions best when he has shooters around him. You look at what they surrounded him with in Miami. Mike Miller, Ray Allen, Battier, those guys are James Jones. Those guys can make shots. He goes back to Cleveland. Shannon Fry, guys that can, J.R. Smith, Kyle Korver, guys that can make the shot, space the floor, and then you can see him attack like you like to see him, get downhill.
Yep.
But when you got, I ain't guarding Russell at no three-point line. Why? I ain't guarding AD at no three-point line. Why? And if you got DJ or Dwight Howard, I'm not guarding them at the three-point line. I'm not guarding Tucker either at the three-point line. I'm not guarding anybody at the three-point line.
Only Ellington, who has shown me he'll take and make big shots. He made that one at Dallas.
Monk can make it. He's in protocol.
Yeah.
Carmelo comes and goes, but Carmelo been money at home.
He has.
He hasn't been very good on the road, but he's been money at home shooting the three.
And Austin Reeves was not money in college, but he's turning into money in pro basketball.
Well, Skip, I just tried to figure. You want Russ and Ellington, Russ and Ben Simmons on the same.
I just think you change the flow of the team. It would feel better. You would play a higher level of basketball with Ben Simmons because your defense would skyrocket.
So would the bricks. We go from 10, 12 bricks a game up to like 17, 20 a game.
He finds ways to score at 6'10" because he's pretty good with both
LeBron,
hands.
so in other words, you say, LeBron, you're not going to be able to drive the ball because everybody's going to just pack the paint. They're going to make it like Giannis.
Well, not really.
Skip.
Yeah, but remember, Ben can really dish it.
Yes.
He can dish it the way LeBron can dish it. He's got the gift.
Yeah, but Skip.
You can play off each other. You can play two-man.
We were supposed to be able to play two-man with AD. We were supposed to be able to play two-man with Russ. How that's go working? Playing straw man, no man.
Okay, but you are so down on Anthony Davis that right now, Ben Simmons, in my mind's eye, is more valuable than Anthony Davis is. I don't know what's happened to him. Plus, he can't stay healthy.
No.
He's low RPM, low energy, not healthy.
I don't know. Skip, I don't know what happened to his shot. I don't know if he got too muscle-bound, he got too big, but Anthony Davis
does look bigger than he was last year.
I mean, you look at the numbers, he's the worst outside shooting guy with the amount of attempts that he's taken in the NBA.
Yep.
I mean, we can go through all this other stuff, but I'm just telling you what the numbers say. He's the worst outside shooter. He's the worst three-point shooter.
Yep.
That can't be denied.
Well, in the way you're presenting this to me, you are stuck with him and stuck with Russ. So you just got to go figure it out.
We stuck like a song on repeat.
Right.
You just just get used to hearing it over. You'll learn the words.
What is the song?
It don't matter, but I saw you walking in the rain because it's raining here in Southern California, and it's supposed to rain all the way through Christmas. You remember that Orange Juice Jones song, Skip? I ain't going to say it because you say we get fined for it.
I remember that 80s song, It Never Rains in Southern California.
Totally. It does. Good for us.
It's been raining, but we do, Skip. I mean, we went about 100+ days, 200 days without any rain. We were due.
This is our snow, right? Right around the holidays? Okay, good. Thank you for not singing, Shannon.
Okay, my bad. Okay, I ain't gonna say it.
No mercy. Well, the Cowboys are 10-4 and are in the running to potentially secure a 1 seed. Jerry Jones has been impressed with Dallas, but feels like they have another level. During a radio appearance, Jerry said, quote, "We know how hard it is to have that kind of win-loss record. To do it and to have a chance to be a better team over this next month or 6 weeks is really something rare in my experience." That sounds almost like you were dreaming of Christmas a little bit, but we do have a chance to be a better team. So, Shannon, will Jerry's Christmas wish come true, or will he get a big lump of coal in that stocking?
Coal. Yep, and you know it too, Skip Bayless. Here's the thing. Everybody thinks that next week or the week after or in a few months we're going to be better. You don't think Green Bay thinks they should be better than that three-loss team? They should. Man, Tampa. What team? Kansas City, everybody thinks they should be better than what their record is. This is not mutually exclusive to the Cowboys, but this is what we know, Skip. Since that injury, Dak has reached 250 yards or more only twice in 7 games. That is fact. The offensive line, they're not as violent as they once were at opening up holes. Zeke isn't the same back. Yeah, your defense is playing outstanding. As good as anybody's playing defensively, the Cowboys should be at the top, at least at the table or at the head of the table. But your offense leaves a lot to be desired. And everybody keeps saying they haven't put a complete game together. Well, what makes you think they're capable of doing that? When have we seen, you look at it what they did to Atlanta, but we know what Atlanta is. When we saw what they did to Carolina, but more times than not, this offense has come up small in the last 2 months of the season. Your defense is playing unbelievable, but your offense is not meeting that, Skip. So for me, I look at it at 10-4 is as good as you could hope to be. Because you could easily, a missed kick here, the Chargers, you lose. You know, if Aguilar doesn't drop that pass and they stay on the field on 3rd down, you possibly lose again. So I think 10-4 is as best as you could hope for. Given that you're the Cowboys and you do Cowboy things, you sitting as good as you can be.
What happened on opening Thursday night?
You lost, like I thought you would.
We were in position to win, except we got goated, right? What if the GOAT had done against us what he did against New Orleans?
Hold on, no. First of all, you know that's not going to happen. Skip, I mean, when have y'all beat somebody like there's no chance you guys can win this game and win it? Y'all don't do that. That's not what Cowboys do. Y'all lose those games that y'all should win. A la Denver, a la Raiders.
Okay, my turn. Once again, Jerry went weird here. But he actually went weird deep on this point. And I love what Jerry Jones said for once, because he's correct. His instincts are all screaming right.
No, you want him to be right,
so
right.
The original question he was asked on his radio gig in Dallas, he's got a couple of them. What would you have told folks at the beginning of the year if you knew the Cowboys would be where they currently are? And his answer was, I would have told you that, Jerry, you're not supposed to start drinking this early in the day, right? So he's admitting there's no way before the year started that he thought they were going to get to 10-4 at this point through 14 games.
Right.
He's saying, you accused me of being drunk early in the day if I said we're going to get to 10-4.
Right.
Okay, but then he segues into, I've been through this so many times. He bought the team in 1989, and he's experienced winning at the highest of levels.
And losing that first year.
One in 15. But then all of a sudden it started to turn fast.
Yes.
Thanks in large part to Jimmy, but Jerry had something to do with it. They had a little Lennon McCartney going on there. And then all of a sudden it exploded on the NFL, and they should have won at least 4 in a row, maybe 5. But you know and I know what happened. Jimmy and Jerry fell apart, but they did win 3 in 4 years, which, as you well know, it's pretty hard to do.
You go 7 years and you win 3 Super Bowls in your first 7 years of ownership. You ain't upset about that, but you think it's easy, Skip, because you have that level of success that early.
So you got spoiled, and we in Cowboy Nation got real spoiled. And then all of a sudden the drought hit. And it's a long, hard drought. So Jerry's had a whole lot of failure. He knows what failure feels like on the football field as the owner and operator of the Dallas Cowboys. So he's saying, I know what my instincts are telling me, that we've gotten all the way to 10-4. And I keep watching this every Sunday, and I say, I don't think we peaked on defense. And I've seen that offense explode on people, and something is off, but something was really right early in the year. So I know in my heart of hearts that offense is going to get better.
Why?
It's going to snap out of it.
What are you basing that on? I've seen it. Let me ask you a question. You say it's going to get better. Have you seen better or worse? If you add it up, they played they're 10-4, so we've had 15 weeks. So what have you seen from this offense? Have you seen what Jerry believes it can be or what it's been? Which have you seen more of?
Mr. Sharpe, I give you one statistic. Would you believe that the team that now leads the league, the whole NFL, 32 teams, the team that leads in total yards gained for the year is my Dallas Cowboys?
Yes.
Jerry's Cowboys.
Yes.
Lead the whole league in yards gained as we speak.
Yes.
Green Bay is 14th in yards gained.
Yeah.
Green Bay is 14th in points scored.
Yeah.
We're still second in points scored to the GOAT and Tampa Bay.
But what you did,
what does that tell you?
It tells me that you built up that situation. You were like a chipmunk. You stored up some bad team against bad teams. And what have you done? You just scored 21 points against the Giants. Really? You scored 16 against the Broncos. Really? You scored 9 points against Kansas City.
Something is good to great here.
What is it?
Something I give you. Our explosive plays have dried up like one of the dry holes Jerry used to drill out in the oil fields. But I've seen it with my own eyes be not good, but great, like explosively great. You know and I know Dak Prescott can get as hot as he has been cold. You know and I know that my 3 receivers, the trio I thought would be the best trio in football, they're healthy.
They are, and look what they did on Sunday.
Yeah. You know and I know Zeke is about the healthiest he's been all year. And what did he just post yesterday? Bet against me, a dare, a challenge. Bet against me. Okay, I'll take that.
He's averaging career lows.
Yep, he is.
And bet against him.
Is he capable? Tony Pollard came back. It was like he rose from the dead. I thought he was gone for the year.
You just talking about you like what the man posted. You just told me 2 days ago that you want Tony Pollard to get more of the carry. Then you talking about you about to bet with the man now.
Thunder and lightning are back. That's a pretty good lethal combination. Dalton Schultz, I mean, he's not Shannon Sharpe, but he's pretty good.
Yes.
He's got really trustable, dependable hands.
Well, tell me, you know what, Skip? Sitting on your couch, you know. Tell me about your quarterback.
Yep.
How does your quarterback make you feel? That's what my therapist always said. Well, Shannon, how does that make you feel? Skip?
You have a therapist?
Don't worry about what I got. I'm just asking you. Your quarterback playing...
You need a therapist after me.
How about this, Skip? Your quarterback playing like he's played over the last 6-7 weeks. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like he's due. That's what he's due. He is really due.
Okay.
Like really, really due. And guess what? Tyron Smith has not been in the lineup here lately, but he made the Pro Bowl again.
Yes.
Is it on reputation?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but he made it again.
When he's been in there, he's been really good. The problem is, Skip, he's not been in there. He's been in and out of the lineup.
Do you believe he'll be back in the lineup soon?
Yeah,
I do too.
I do. But here's the thing.
Wait a second.
You go finish the game?
Okay. Yes, he will.
Okay.
I think he's saving himself for the stretch run.
Okay.
Zach Martin, he made the Pro Bowl again.
Yeah.
Did he get it on reputation?
No. Zach Martin's legit. Zach Martin's legit. I think he's the second best guard in football. He ain't Quentin Nelson now.
No, I'll give you that.
But he legit. Zach Martin is legit.
I got 2 legits. I got a left tackle and a right guard who are legit. And I still think Lyle Collins out there, right tackle, I know he's had his moments, good and bad. I think he's legit.
Yeah.
When this thing gets healthy and starts to fire on all those cylinders, I think they will be able to run it, and I think they'll be able to protect number 4, and I think he's going to find a lot of running free receivers.
But we've seen Green Bay's offense operate on high octane. We've seen Tampa. We've seen the Rams. Skip, I believe those offenses, when everybody is operating at their peak capacity, I believe those offenses are better than yours.
Okay. I might give you a slight edge there. But now let's look at the overall football team, which brings me back to our man Troy Aikman. He also has a dueling radio show in Dallas with Jerry's radio show. And Troy made yet another profound point. I think it was yesterday on his show. He said, you know, there's not really many teams around the league anymore where you look at them and you say they're really good on offense and on defense. Dallas can be one of those. I concur. Dallas has firepower now on both sides. I can't believe these words are exiting my lips. But on defense, they have firepower thanks to 11 from heaven. who has all of a sudden rejuvenated D-Law and Randy Gregory into dominating forces. We have the best pass rush in pro football. We have the most takeaways, tied with Indy. In pro football, we lead in interceptions. It's all contagious, and they are feeding off the king of the jungle, Micah Parsons.
Okay, well, I mean, Troy.
Okay, so they're only, every time I watch the defense, it gets a little better and a little better. And I've got dual threat. I've got a defense I trust and an offense that I used to trust that will bounce back. But you don't trust them anymore. Well, I mean, it's just lying dormant.
Okay.
It's about to explode on somebody.
You sure that?
Yep, I've seen it before. I'm not trying to imagine it. I've seen it.
What if you're the 17-year cicadas? What if you're dormant for the next however long?
But it wasn't. It hasn't been that way. I saw my offense go to Tampa Bay and just run all over them and barely lose when my defense hadn't yet figured it out. I saw my offense go up to Belichick when everybody says Belichick will take away your strengths. My offense had its way with Belichick all day and all night
threw the ball really well
and walked off.
So Troy says he believes the Cowboys can be a complete team.
Yeah.
Do you believe the Packers? Do you believe the Packers can be a complete team?
I do, but I think my team has a little more firepower than the Packers do. I think my defense can be a little better because my pass rush is a little better.
I'll ask Troy who he thinks is the better situation.
Okay.
He likes Dax or he likes Aaron Rodgers. Okay. What about the Bucs? You believe they can be a complete team?
If they get healthy, but it appears they're not going to get healthy again.
You trust the GOAT, though. You trust Dak or you trust Tom Brady?
Well, obviously I trust Brady more, but who's got the more complete team right now? The Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe has told me all year long, I'm telling you, that defense is not what it used to be.
Yeah, I'm saying that, but thank you. Even though they're not what they used to be, right now they're retired with the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. They finished with the same record, but they beat you head-to-head, they would be the number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So Packers can be a complete team. Rams with Aaron Darnold, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller, and Stafford, Cooper Kupp. And I'm going to throw Odell in there, too. And Higbee.
Who do you trust more in a big playoff game, Dak Prescott or Matthew Stafford?
I'm going to go Matty Ice.
Are you?
I'm going to go Matthew Stafford.
Matty Ice?
Yep, I'm going Stafford.
Co-opted that nickname from the former MVP?
Well, actually, he and Matt Ryan are very good friends. They're best friends, actually.
I actually saw Dak one time beat Matty Ice in a playoff game.
You saw him cheat. Mm-hmm. Hold on. You acknowledged that was a pass interference and they picked the flag up. You acknowledged that.
Oh, that wasn't Dak. That was Romo.
Yeah, but you acknowledged it.
It was Dak. No, it wasn't Dak. We got it. But then Dez did catch it.
Dez did no. One bad call deserved another.
Matt Stafford is 0-3 in the playoffs.
You about to be 1-3.
No mercy.
Despite another week of struggling, Cam Newton will start for the Panthers, according to Matt Rule. The Carolina coach also said Sam Darnold will be able to play just a bit. He also said that he had some excellent moments early. He hit kind of a rut there. He's had some time off, so when he has an opportunity to play, I'd certainly like to see him show what he can do. We brought him here to be a starter. We want to see if he can play at that level again. So, Shannon, Panthers do host the Bucs this weekend on Fox. What does this news mean for Sunday's game specifically?
They're in trouble. Skip, what's the old saying in football? If you have 2 quarterbacks, how many do you have? The mere fact that they talking about discussing playing a quarterback and Cam Newton is on your roster tells you what they think of Cam and tells you the situation of Sam Darnold, because if they thought Sam Darnold was that, they would start him. Why would you not start him if you think he's that? And if you thought Cam Newton was that, why would you even mention the fact that Sam Darnold is going to play? The return in Cam in Carolina has not gone well. By nobody's standard, it was a great story.
We got off to a great start.
Yes. It was a great story, Skip. Cam is going back home. You remember the first touchdown? Back.
Fairy tale.
He ain't been back since.
Running out to the logo. I think we have that.
Yes.
Slamming the ball down.
Yes.
I'm back.
Skip, I just don't. It hadn't gone well.
There he is. We got Cam. This is a big time run right here. I was impressed. And instead of celebrating, he ran it all the way out to the logo. Yep. And Supermaned it. Okay. That was the end of Cam as we knew him.
Because they lost that game.
Yep.
And so for me, as I look at it, Skip, I don't really see a scenario how Cam comes back. And it's getting harder and harder because remember, Skip, after he got, it was hard for him to get on a team last year. It was hard for him to stay on the team this year. It got hard for him to get on the team. So it's getting harder and harder for teams to pick him up because they don't view him as a guy that can get us to it. Teams are looking for guys that can get them to the championship. They ain't just trying to win games.
Yep.
And I don't think they view Cam as being that guy that can get them to where they need to be. Yep. I think it's going to be very difficult for Cam to have a job next year. It's going to be very interesting how that plays out.
Yep.
And Sam Darnold, he was playing well when Christian McCaffrey could run the football. C-Mac got nicked, and it went downhill from there. So it's going to be, like you said, they brought him in to be a starter. They traded for him to be their starter.
They did.
It ain't going well for the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, big picture, I agree with you. It doesn't look good for Cam going forward. I don't think he's going to be a Panther again next year. And I'm just not sure where he's going to land in this league. I'm just not sure about it. It doesn't feel good to me. Okay, so yesterday we focused on what's left of the Buccaneers. Obviously, they lost Chris Godwin. Mike Evans might or might not play Sunday at Carolina. Right. It is a division rivalry. They're going to try to get AB back up to speed as quickly as they can, but who knows how smooth that transition will be because he played the first 5 games and he's been gone for a long time. And will there be any misgiving in the locker room about he's suddenly back on the team after what the little stunt that he pulled off? Well, you could be right. But Brady had his worst game. Will he bounce back? I just thought this was a vulnerable position for Tampa, especially if they started and stuck with Cam Newton. Because the one thing I believe about Cam, he's a big game player against big name quarterbacks. Okay. The best. Okay. Playing against the best will bring out the best in Cam Newton. And he's not an old man. He's not too old to have another big game. He's not old in the average person's age, but in football years with the punishment that he's taken. I'll give you that. And you can say these games were a long time ago, but he's played Brady twice in his career. First time was on a Monday night at Carolina in 2013. And Cam Newton put on a show, and he outplayed Tom Brady that night. Oh, as a matter of fact, I remember that Monday night. You remember when Tom Brady ran up to the official? He did it again. Yeah, because Gronk got interfered with. That's Coach Belichick's job. I'm glad you brought that up. I had forgotten all about it. So this is a reoccurring theme with him. Psycho Tom. I've always told you that. But in that game, Cam wound up with a QBR of 91, scale 0 to 100. That was really good. Brady had a 79 that night. And then they met again at Foxborough in 2017. Cam outgunned him 33-30 and had a QBR of 87 to Tom's 81. So that's twice. Cam flat out outplayed Tom home and away. He wound up for those 2 games with 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. Tom had 3 to 1 interception. And Cam tacked on 15 carries in those 2 games for 106 yards. That'll work. That helped his QBR be slightly better than Tom's. My point is, that's the best of Cam Newton. Okay, what did he do? What's been his history? At Blinn Junior College, he won a national championship. Yes. He went to Auburn, he won a national championship. Obviously, for a while, he was at Florida as one of the top recruits in the country. And then he winds up in Carolina, and we know what happened in 2015. He won the MVP, and he lifted them, I want to say almost single-handedly, but they had a very good defense featuring Luke Kuechly, obviously. But they got to the Super Bowl, and then Von Miller happened. But he's capable. I don't think he's not that 27. But Skip, he hadn't been that guy since 28. He hadn't been that guy since 2017. Right. I just thought this shaped up as one of those games where at Carolina they rose and shone thanks to Cam. I thought it was a last hurrah kind of a game for Cam. If Matt Rule wanted to sort of save face and save some legitimacy to the season, you just let Cam take a shot at Tom. And don't even mention Sam Darnold. You don't mention him, but he did mention him. He said they're going to split snaps. I don't know how it's going to unfold. But you know how it's going to unfold. Okay, I don't know exactly who gets what, but... What normally happens when that happens
You remember that?
Disaster.
Exactly.
You're talking about my Cowboys?
Your Cowboys. I was on the Broncos when we did that, too, in 92 with Sean Moore. Yes, with Sean Moore and Tommy Maddox.
Where one would run the play in like your coach tells the play to the
quarterback. And the quarterback come in and run a play, then he run off the field and another quarterback would come in the game.
Well,
yes.
We're going to get to that point?
I don't know if it'll be that, but they probably alternate series.
So Matt Rule basically told you what he thought of Cam Newton the other day after the game when he just – He dismissed him because he said on that 4th and 1 play where the read option was called, Cam opted to audible out and throw the ball, and it was incomplete. And he blasted him and said that was quarterback error after the game.
Right.
And he was pretty cold-blooded about it. And then the other day, I guess it was yesterday, he said, hey, I listened to Coach Bruce Arians and some of those guys, highly critical. He's talking about being critical of Tom Brady. I was trying to answer a question about a play, not necessarily a person. No, you just paid no respect at all to your quarterback. Because to me, I criticize Arians for doing it to Brady. But he just showed you they're done with Cam.
Right.
They're trying to get him out of the way.
He didn't have to say we called a play and he audibled out of it.
No.
He could have just said, hey, we didn't execute the play that was called.
Correct.
That's all I got to do.
So in the end, it's pride goeth before the fall. And they chose Sam Darnold. They love Sam Darnold. Everybody loves him because he's a great young man. Mm-hmm. You loved him before the draft. I didn't. And it was a disaster. Once they lost C-Mac, it went way south.
It did.
And so they're hoping that he's kind of licked his wounds and he shook it off, and they're going to throw him back in there. And I will bet you he'll get the majority of the snaps over Cam. That's my gut, because that's their guy.
Tampa's favored by what, 10, 10 and a half?
11? It was 11 this morning.
On the road?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I
laughed at it yesterday. I'm not laughing.
Exactly.
Because I think the Carolina Panthers are a clown show now.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
They can't run the football, so Sam Darnold can't be. Sam Darnold's not throwing you to a victory. If you look at the victories they got, C-Mac was running the ball very effectively. So it took some of the pressure off of him.
Yeah.
To ask him to go out there and to beat Tom. I mean, Tom's not unbeatable, but you can't be one-dimensional.
Nope. Now, I believe the Bucs will cover, and I want to thank Matt Rule for that, because all of a sudden Brady survives. All they need to do as defending champs is get this division over with.
Yeah.
Where all they need is to know they get one home playoff game, and then the rest, they'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And I think they just did that. So congratulations to Brady and the Buccaneers.
Skip, they was gonna win this game, whether Matt Rule said anything, named the quarterback.
I still have respect for Cam. Cam played really well in Brady's shoes in Foxborough last year until he got COVID.
Well, they better bring back Jake Delhomme then.
Okay.
Boy.
Or how about 2015 Cam? 2015 Cam, I say they beat you, Skip. But he hadn't been that guy in a long, long time.
Maybe 2017, because
that feels like a
2017
really long
Cam.
time ago now, too.
No mercy.
Antonio Brown is expected to return for the Bucs this weekend. And when talking about his suspension, his head coach Bruce Arians told a radio show, I wasn't very proud of what he did this time, but I've got a spot in my heart for him now. However, AB looked like his old self in some ways on social media recently, demanding that he wanted some, quote, respect on his name, and then threatening to post a video of his vaccination to prove his innocence. So, Shannon, what does all this tell you about AB going forward?
Nothing. It tells me I see better than I hear. And BA, talking about he got a spot in his heart. No, you got a spot on your team. This has everything. He's laid it out, Skip. He said, hey, I'm doing what's in the best interest of my football team. Skip, guess what? BA, every year, there are guys that come in, and BA has to release about 25, 30 guys. I'm sure he has a soft spot, but those guys can't help him win. That's why he releases them. AB, he believes that can help him win now, especially with Chris Godwin being out, especially with Mike Evans being nicked. This is a football decision. This is not a decision I'm trying to help save AB. Because what has AB shown you? Skip, I get it. People like, well, Shannon, you defended Odell. Odell did not give you the antics that he gave you at the Giants. What did AB do? You saw what he did in Pittsburgh. He went to Oakland with the same antics. He went to New England with the same antics. He's been in Tampa, the same antics. So don't give me that soft spot. BA, if you just said, look, man, I'm doing what's the best interest of my team. I'm trying to win football games. As a football coach, I'm paid to win football games. I'm good with that, Skip. I understand how pro sports work. I was in that environment for 14 years and been covering it since. But all this notion that, man, this is, I got a soft spot in my heart. No, you don't. You got a spot on your team, and your team went through a bad situation last week, and you feel AB can help you. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
So, Bruce Arians says yesterday, I've got a spot in my heart for him. No, I'm going to go to a spot in your heart for Lombardi's.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You finally tasted that.
Yes.
And you know what it took to win that.
Right.
And he helped you win that. And this is turning into a sorry and dangerous situation for me, because I first guessed this the other day. I said, beware, because now you have sent the message to one Antonio Brown that he has now become a desperate need for your team. He has become a godsend, dare I say, a savior for your team, because Chris Godwin, bless his soul, went down and out for the year. Mike Evans has a pulled hamstring, not sure about his availability. There's no Gio Bernard. It's not what it used to be. And everybody says, yeah, but we got AB. Really? You've got the old AB, because he is now empowered. And he showed you on social how empowered he feels. He posts, put some respect back on my name. Because you committed a felony offense?
Correct.
Really?
Yeah. I'm vaccinated. You weren't when you presented that card.
Fake ID, a fake vax ID. Really? Oh, so you went and did that. That is a felony offense.
Yes.
And then you only wised up as you got to camp when somebody told you, hey, you could go to jail for 5 years for this.
Exactly.
And no judge in this country is going to give AB a break after all of his track record, right? So he says, I better get vaccinated. So he did. So yesterday he was going back and forth, I think on Twitter, and he's threatening to post his vaccination video. Well, that proves what?
What? That you got vaccinated.
Yeah.
Post the video of that fake card that you gave him at the beginning of the year. Post that.
And if you draw enough attention back to it, the feds are going to come and say, we should investigate this a little further.
He should just leave this situation alone, Skip.
I'd say.
Skip, look, this is what pro sports is about. Pro sports is about performance. Can you or can't you? It's called production and tolerance. I can assure you, if AB was giving you 20 yards a game and had this type of behavior, you and I both know AB would have got cut long time ago in Pittsburgh. He'd have never got the $30 million in guaranteed money that the Raiders had on the table. The New England Patriots wouldn't have touched him. It's production and tolerance. You produce at a high level, the tolerance is a high level.
Yep.
And that's what it is. Now, not only was he producing, Skip, I really need you, Skip, because guess what? Man, one of my other workers didn't show up.
Yep.
Hey, can you come in? I'll pay you overtime to get you to come in, because Chris Godwin and Chris Godwin is out. Mike Evans is Nick. Skip, so you want to go into with Brashard Perriman? You want to go Tyler Johnson? Tyler, so that's what you want me, Tom Brady, to go to bat with? Man, let me get AB. AB is a Pro Bowl. He's an All-Pro.
Yep.
That's what this is about. No soft. BA, stop with this soft spot in your heart. After you done called the man, after you done told the man you ain't want nothing to do with him because of what you experienced with him in Pittsburgh. Now you got a soft spot.
Okay, I'm going to be objective about the quarterback I love, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. This is all on him. This had nothing to do with Bruce Arians.
Of course.
I'm sorry, the buck, so to speak, the Bucks stop on that desk, on TB12's desk.
Both BUCS and the BUCKS.
They stop with that quarterback. And you know and I know what AB had done before he got to the Buccaneers was not a pretty sight. If you look at the list of issues he has faced, including sexual assault allegations, not a pretty sight. And Tommy said, yeah, got to have him. Sorry, B.A., got to have him. He had about 15 minutes with him in New England. He loves him because he will work hard in practice and he will get open during football games.
Yes.
And he will catch it.
Yes.
And he will be where he is supposed to be when he runs his route.
Right.
Tom says, I want that guy. I don't care what happened off the field. Tom Brady is not that nice man next door.
Tom is in the business of winning games.
That is correct.
And 20 years from now, ain't nobody going to remember that AB had all these off-the-field antics.
No.
They gonna just... He held up another trophy.
This is why Tom Brady is Jordan-esque.
Yes.
He's not, aw shucks, gee whiz Tom Brady. We saw him in action, the tantrums he threw the other night. Psycho Tom, Jordan-esque. Win at all costs.
Right.
I don't care about any of that. Give me a B. Especially now, we got to go. We don't care. Zero tolerance. One mistake and you're gone. Well, he made a big mistake, and he's there as the savior.
Skip, as long as you've covered this game, you know every team has had a player or players late, do things, but they can play. It's just the way, that's just the way it goes.
It's the way it goes. This felt like one line. I told you before I first guessed this one. I said I would draw that line in the sand on this one, and I would say so that Bruce could sort of save his credibility in the locker room, just say no to AB. If you want to bring back Mike Edwards, because you can argue he didn't have a long track record like AB's, and there was no zero tolerance on Mike Edwards, I'm fine with that.
Right.
But AB, you should say no, because it could galvanize your football team. Let's pull together and show we can win without him. And instead, you're saying, we got to have him.
Well, you telling the story how Jimmy cut Curvin Richards because he fumbled the football. You believe he'd have cut Emmett if he'd have fumbled?
No. Curvin Richards is the last game of the year against Ditka's Bears, what was left of them. And it was Troy and Emmett and Michael were over without their pads on, sitting up on the top of the benches over there. And he made them all put their pads on and go back in the game. It's the last game before the playoffs are starting, and Curvin fumbled and he was cut. But sending a message to the locker room, that will not be tolerated.
The guy fell asleep in meetings. Jimmy cut him.
Out.
They asked him, well, what if Troy would have fell asleep? Well, I woke him up.
Yep.
You see how that works? Give production and tolerance.
Sent the backup kicker to the asthma field. You're out. Didn't need him.
That's just the way it is. So if BA just own up to it, look, guys, we running out of players. We don't have enough receivers. Our top receiver gets injured. Our second receiver is Nick. And we get an opportunity. AB, God knows our system. Yeah, we coming back. Okay, boom.
Here we go.
No, I got a soft spot in my heart for him.
Yeah, he does have a soft spot for winning.
Okay, soft spot.
I agree with you guys there. No mercy. Christmas Day, Terry Bradshaw is giving away a house on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Scan the QR code and enter your picks in the Christmas special contest. Then opt in to the house giveaway sweepstakes for your chance to win. One lucky winner will be announced on Christmas during the Browns-Packers game on Fox. Don't miss out. Free to play. Best of luck winning a house for the holidays. So Pro Bowl rosters were announced yesterday, and Kyler Murray made the NFC team as the third QB behind Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And some people were surprised that Matt Stafford didn't get the nod after what he's done in his first season with the Rams. So Shannon, should Stafford have been named to the team over Kyler?
Man, I'm not surprised. I'm shocked. Skip, these numbers are not even close. I mean, Matthew Stafford has 1,100 more passing yards. He has 15 more touchdowns. He's third in QBR. Kyler is ninth. Same number of interceptions. And if you just look at Skip, Kyler also missed 2 games. And if you look, he's lost 3 of his last 4, in which he has 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions in those 3 losses. And he just lost to the Lions, in which he scored 12 points. Skip, it's not even close. And I get it. And what we've seen, and I told you this, Skip, my only concern with him was his size. And we've seen this since his rookie year, that the second half of the season, what starts to happen, Skip? He starts to wear down. We've seen this. This is a recurring theme. This is not a one-off. We saw it last year. We saw it his rookie year, that as the season wanes on, even though, Skip, he's not taking direct hits, a 300 man falling on a 200-pound man a couple of times, 3, 4, 5 times a game, it starts to wear on you. His rush totals are down to 25 yards a game. Yeah, he's boating the pocket, but he's not as dangerous as he once was. I'm shocked. This should have been a no-brainer. Now, it happens every year, Skip. There are guys that get snubbed, but this, to me, is the biggest snub of all the snubs. I would have probably gone Joe Burrow over Lamar, considering the amount of games that he's missed and how poorly he's played. But I think this is even more egregious than Lamar getting in over Joe Burrow.
So, as Kyler came out of the University of Oklahoma, I was very bullish. I said he's going to be a star in this league. Shannon Sharpe, skeptical at best about little tiny Kyler Murray, right?
Yep.
And all he has done the last 2 years is make the Pro Bowl. So I want to congratulate publicly Kyler Murray for 2 straight Pro Bowls. I think he's living up, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is close. I'm not going to say it's egregious, but it is close. I will start with this. Your favorite website, Pro Football Focus, grading these two quarterbacks for all their body of work for the whole year, not just off the Detroit loss, the disaster debacle that was, but for the whole year. Pro Football Focus says Kyler is the 6th graded quarterback in the NFL. Matt Stafford is the 8th graded. So by their grades, you'd have to say slight edge to Kyler.
Okay.
Pro Bowl Kyler. Kyler is completing 70% of his passes, which is second in the league. So you got to give him credit for that.
Okay.
And you also can't be a prisoner of the moment because at Detroit the other day, they were awful. He was awful, but there was no DeAndre Hopkins, so he didn't have his Cooper Cup, right? In that game.
You remember that game against Aaron Rodgers on a Thursday night? Skip, okay, you always tell me, throw away the numbers. What does your eyes tell you? Do your eyes tell you that Kyler Murray has played better this year than Matthew Stafford? I'm not saying Kyler is not a good quarterback, but I believe this season alone, I'm not talking about the last 2 games, 3 games.
All right.
I'm talking about for a body
Kyler
of work.
versus Aaron Rodgers. I'm glad you brought that up. Could we see Kyler's last throw in that game, please? Thank you. Kyler to AJ. AJ, great. Where are you going? It's a stop route. Kyler threw a touchdown ball.
Why would it even come to that? Why would it even come to that? Aaron Rodgers without his 3 best receivers, 2 best offensive linemen, and 2 best defensive players. So why would it even come to a throw?
Yep, that's good, Kyler. I would do the same thing. Thank you very much. He made the throw that would have won the football game and changed their record and maybe even the whole vibe and feel of the season.
Skip, but how do you go? Stafford has.
Did you not say the next day that was a good throw?
That was AJ messed up. I said it at the time. But, Skip, it's hard to argue. 1,100 more yards, 15 more touchdowns, and you like QBR. You say QBR is your stat. One guy's 3rd, the other guy's 9th.
Okay. I got that. I gave you the Pro Football Focus is the counter.
Yeah, they do that. Pro Football Focus do the QBR, right?
Yep. Okay. Remember, Kyler has 5 rushing touchdowns, so that kind of levels the playing
field. I'm gonna give him 5. Okay, now he has 25 touchdowns, the 25 to 35.
Okay. Coach McYay's offense is bombs away. It's the Bruce Arians of the West Coast.
What about Cliff Kingsbury?
Am I right?
Here's the guy that got fired at Texas Tech, get with OC, and he got a head job. I ain't never seen a guy fail upwards. He did that. Everybody, he got the guy he wanted.
A lot of people think he's Coach of the Year this year, right?
So
they had a long hot streak, and for a while, you were coming in here, sitting in that very chair, telling me you got Arizona, the best team in the NFC.
They were,
right?
Yes, but what happened since then, Skip? Since that 7-0 start,
okay, body of work. Well, what just happened? It wasn't that long ago, in the month of November. I'm trying to watch the Rams and the Titans go in there and just shellac them.
Yes.
Just made them look like they were hapless and hopeless.
Yes.
It was 28-16. Then they went up to San Francisco, division rival, 31-10 San Francisco. Remember that game?
Yeah.
And then they had a week off, and then they went up to Green Bay, and it was 36-28 Green Bay.
Yeah.
Where was our Pro Bowl quarterback in those games?
If I'm not mistaken, the Titans are leading the AFC South. Where's Detroit?
Detroit, no D-Hop is where they are.
Yeah. You had D-Hop when you played the Rams the other night. You remember when Kyler Murray threw 3 picks?
Yep.
Was D-Hop there?
Okay, well, was
Matthew Stafford threw for 287 and 3 touchdowns?
Yep.
Okay, I was just checking.
So they've played each other head-to-head twice.
1-1.
In the first game, Kyler went in there and just cleaned some house.
Yeah, kind of like Matthew Stafford went there and dirted up his house.
Okay, but Kyler threw for 268, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions at SoFi.
Yeah.
And then Kyler actually had a very good game at Arizona. It was 383. I got him throwing for 383, no touchdowns and 2 picks.
Yeah.
But still, 383 is for Kyler Murray. Is pretty great.
Is that better than 23 of 30, 287, 3 touchdowns and 0 picks?
Well, he threw for 100 more yards than Matt Stafford did.
And he threw for 2 more interceptions and fewer touchdowns.
It was much closer at Arizona than it was at SoFi.
Skip,
right?
Skip. Ain't nobody slow dancing. That's the only time that closeness matters. You throwing grenades, horseshoes, or slow dancing. I ain't going to the 8th grade dance anymore. You going to any bar mitzvah? You going to any weddings?
In the 2 head-to-heads, which quarterback played the best overall in the 2 head-to-heads? Well, it's Kyler.
Who's played over 14 games.
Yep.
Body of work.
Body of work.
Played the best.
Pro Football Focus. My Bible says Kyler.
No. What did your eyes tell you? What did your eyes tell you, Skip, baby?
Right now.
It's okay, Skip. Oklahoma's still going to send you Christmas cards. They're going to send you something for trumpet for them, man. Stop this.
All right, guys.
No mercy, and I won't back down.
The Cowboys have a lot to celebrate this holiday season, but they're also making a sacrifice. When asked about spending time with family members, DeMarcus Lawrence said, quote, "They got to stay home this year. We got to make that sacrifice again." That's what we came to a decision as the NFL and also as a team, the Dallas Cowboys. We just got to do whatever it takes to make sure we give ourselves the best opportunity to win. So, Shannon, if you were playing now, would you agree with this approach?
Hell, I did that. It wasn't no pandemic.
That's true.
Man, please. Hey, Skip, if everybody heard my speech, I told you, I was not the best brother, the best son, and damn sure wasn't the best father or partner because football was the most important thing.
Yep.
And I knew what I signed up for. And I apologize to everybody when I was standing on that podium. But absolutely, you stand your ass home this year, I'll send you your Christmas gift. You're not coming. It's too important to me. Football was too important to me. It was the most important thing because I wanted to be great, and I didn't believe you could have balance to be great. No matter what, I don't care if you're a man, woman, or child. I don't care about your ethnicity. I don't care about your race. Pick anybody and ask them the sacrifices and what's their balance to them getting to work. Be it Oprah, Tyler Perry, Denzel, LeBron, Serena Williams. Ask them the sacrifice and the balance that was involved in being great. So absolutely, you're staying home. I'm spending it alone.
How many Shannon Sharpes do you think are in that Cowboy locker room as we speak?
Actually, I think more than you probably give it credit for.
I hope so.
Because I think the thing is, Skip, they realize they're on the cusp of something special.
I agree, but I can't vouch for 53 in that locker room because that's a lot of men.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a lot of wives and significant others whose mom wants to come for the holidays.
Well, you go home.
Yeah, you can go home.
But don't come back because you can get me infected.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because you still got
Ain't nobody going there, Skip. Ain't nobody going. Ain't nobody going nowhere. We in this together. We going to have a nice, tidy Christmas together.
I so agree with you. But this is about a team bond.
Yeah.
This is 53, and plus the practice squatters. They all have to put their hands in the middle and say, yes, we will.
Well,
you have to take an oath that you're going to, because nobody can police you. Nobody's going to look over your shoulder. You have to go home and you have to put this into action. And it means it's just you and your immediate.
Tell Jerry to rent out a restaurant. And I want all the guys and their wives and their kids, we going to eat together. We going to have Christmas together. That's what we going to do. We going to do that as the Cowboys. Everybody that's here. Ain't no outside. We're going to do Christmas together.
Okay.
That's what Jerry can do that.
Well, they got the facilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got a hotel right next door. They
Guess what?
Just take the whole ballroom.
There you have it.
Okay, but you know and I know that's not going to work because they got a home game on Sunday, so they're going to have some of Christmas Day off because they'll have a walkthrough. They'll have to come sleep at the hotel at night, but they're going to get some hours in the day with their immediate family. And a lot of people want to celebrate as they do on their own, whatever. Right. But I'm with you. For once, you could do it as a group. Yeah. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that all 53 plus practice squatters are going to have to make the commitment to say, I will only be with my immediates. Yeah. That we can't bring in aunts and uncles.
First of all, no, I'm saying if you're not already in the house, you ain't coming in the house. Yeah. The only thing that's coming in, ain't nothing outside the house coming in. So mom, dad, grandma, brother, sister, ain't happening. As a matter of fact, Skip, my daughter was supposed to be out here. She got COVID. She said, Daddy, I'm going to test. I said, no, don't worry about it, baby. No, don't worry about it. We good.
Hang in there.
Yeah, we good. Yeah. Your gift's in the mail.
Okay.
I got you. No.
Hey, I never thought I would get so tired of hearing the word protocols, but I hear it every day. Every headline I look at, every website, it's about protocols. Right. Because this nation is getting swept with this new variant, and sports are being threatened with shutdown by this new variant. Yeah. So whoever's going to be the last man standing in the National Football League at the end, they're going to be the team that was most unified against the new variant. Right. And the only way to do that is to keep it close.
That's it.
Right?
And you look at college football. I mean, Texas A&M had to buy out the Gator Bowl, Skip. They we got 13 offensive players.
Yeah.
That's not offensive linemen.
And Michigan and Alabama said, we are getting boosters.
Sure.
Right?
And we just
As a
want
team.
these teams
Boosters.
to stay
Team boosters.
well.
Yep.
Oh, the playoff is so close. I do not want to see any of these teams impacted by it. I know they're doing the best they can, right, guys?
No mercy.
Well, tonight is the Lakers' last game at Staples Center before it becomes Crypto.com Arena this weekend, and they'll look to close it out with a win. However, despite playing the 12 and 18 Spurs, LA only finds themselves as 1.5-point favorites, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So, Shannon, how embarrassing is this?
This is not embarrassing, Skip. This is the reality of it now. I'm waiting for Undisputed, sponsored by Crypto.com.
Really?
Can we do that?
I am, Skip. Skip, this is the Lakers' reality. Skip, you don't get to say, well, we got 17 championships. That's not how the books are set. You know that, Skip. This has nothing to do with the Lakers and their history. This has everything to do with the Lakers and their present. They're not a very good team.
Wait a second. Tim Duncan isn't walking through that door.
Neither is Kareem, Shaq, and Kobe.
Okay, well, Ginobili and then Parker isn't.
Yeah.
I got a DeJounte, and I got a Keldon, I got a Jakob, and you're only a point and a half? You're kidding me.
I tell you what, I'm going to give you that point and a half. Give me two cases. I'm going to give you the point and a half.
I got Lakers by 10. Easy.
I'm going to give you 5 points. I give you 5 points.
Don't forget, guys, we're going to be here tomorrow, Christmas Eve,
Sorry.
same time. Celebrate with us. Happy holidays.